Welcome to Autism Actually Speaking. I'm Nathan Selove.
And I'm Raymond Selove.
Today we have a super exciting episode recommended to us by Uncle Bozo 9845, which that is a fun name. And that is about dating
Everybody ought
and
to have an Uncle Bozo 9845.
yeah, but the Uncle Bozo 9846, like, yeah, screw that guy.
No, 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 not that one.
This is about
Unless
today
that
we're
one actually turns out to be a fan, and then
yeah, in which case, power to you. Um, so Uncle Bozo wanted us to talk about dating and romance. And one of the things that they also mentioned, I'm going to assume he, since it says uncle, I apologize if that is incorrect, is questioning why is it that autistics sometimes become incels. So I think that questions about romance and dating. I think my father and I kind of have interesting perspectives on this separately because for me, I'm married to another autistic. My father is married to someone who is not autistic. So I think that we both kind of have um, our own kind of worlds there. Um, so I wanted to start out. So, Dad, when you were a teenager, did you do a lot of dating?
not a lot. I went on a few dates before Shelley, but not very many.
Yeah. So were there any specific struggles that like you think about uh like now when you think about you think were probably related somewhat to you being autistic?
Well, I went to a movie with a girl once, and I mean, I just don't think of a movie as being a very good way of getting to know somebody. Um, you I just completely concentrated on the movie. I hardly even remember her
Yeah.
because I was watching the movie. Um, and maybe I wasn't supposed to, but I can't really split my attention that well. And parties, I was in a fraternity. I didn't really have dates that I took to those parties. Um, but parties seem like a terrible way of dating because, I'm so confused. All different conversations, never know what's going on because there's too much all at once.
Yeah. So I would just like to tell everybody my father's actual idea of the best first date. Um this is
Yeah,
the
it's
genesis
this going to
of
be your
me.
version of it.
This is the genesis of me. So, my dad found out, and by the way, my parents are high school sweethearts, by the way. Um, High school sweethearts never happens, except that it did happen. So, you
It
know,
happens to people.
anyways, so my dad, there was a bunch of, and this is me retelling it, um, based on what I've heard. So my dad at my father's school, there was apparently this group that was giving out McDonald's gift certificates to anybody who was wearing a seatbelt because they were trying to encourage people to wear seatbelts. And my father was the only person that day that got one of those gift certificates because wearing seatbelts is a big thing in our family. Even before seatbelts were required, like that's
And
always been a really important. We value seatbelts.
and it was somewhat uncommon for people to bother to wear seatbelts back then.
Yeah, yeah. Also somewhat uncommon for people to have seatbelts, apparently.
Well,
Or was
most
that, or
people
was that,
had them by
or
the
was
time I
that
was in high school.
okay? So that was your mother's time where it was but
Yeah.
so anyways, my father who found out that apparently my mother had a crush on him, his version of asking for a first date was, "Hey, I have a gift card for a free McDonald's chicken sandwich. You want to split it with me?" As in split the chicken sandwich. He wooed my mother with a half of a McDonald's chicken sandwich. Not even a full chicken sandwich.
I
Half.
In my defense, I was also giving her a ride home.
Yeah. My my first date with my wife, we walked around an arboretum for like an hour and then we went to Chipotle. And
Wait, I thought it was at a party.
no,
Oh,
that was when we met.
that wasn't a date. That was just when
That
you
wasn't,
met her.
yeah, that wasn't a date. That was when we
Okay.
met. And it was a party, although it wasn't a huge party. It was an outdoor party and we were playing cornhole, which is apparently a really nice way to talk to people. Like a really good opportunity to cornhole is a good game that you can for talking and bonding with people. But so that is I would just like to say I'm of the two of us, I'm definitely the more romantic one.
Oh, come on. Shelley and I did all sorts of things. There was one time we played putt-putt in this abandoned putt-putt golf course. So, most of what we did were things that were free.
Hmm. So
We also had a picnic at the landfill in Fairfax County. Um, played
at a
frizz.
landfill,
Yeah, up on
at a
the top
landfill.
of the landfill.
Damn that. Maybe Jess is rubbing off
It's
on me a bit, but I hear that and I think, damn, that sounds so dangerous.
it was the highest point in Fairfax County, so there's good views from there.
So
Makes
let's
sense.
let's talk about the other part of the question, which is about autistics becoming incels. So for those of you that are unfamiliar,
Hmm.
uh, incel basically means involuntary celibate, and uh, it actually, interestingly enough, the movement started out. It was basically just people that weren't traditionally attractive that just wanted to meet with other people that weren't traditionally attractive and like bond with each other. And eventually it basically morphed into this weird sort of misogynistic group of people that are like, um, you know, women are terrible and hate us and we're entitled to women, specifically virgin women, but we don't have to be virgins. It's a really weird sort of group. And there's a lot of like, I'm entitled to
So
love, I'm entitled to this or whatever.
is that community have a an unusual number of autistics in it? I have no idea.
My understanding is that there are like um there is a not insignificant amount of people on the autism spectrum that sometimes do fall prey to some of the BS that they spout. Um,
So let me give some advice to people who are having this as an issue and want to have a way of dealing with it without becoming an incel.
yeah.
Um, Maybe even not be cell anymore at all. So when you're weird, it can be difficult to get people to um, have an interest in you romantically. Um, People tend to favor more conventional people, uh, but there's an exception to that. Um, and I think part of the problem is a lot of autistics people don't know that they're autistic. They just know that they don't respond the way other people do, and it kind of freaks them out. And they're like, I don't want to deal with that. But if you're from another country, another culture, people have a lot more um, tolerance for you not understanding how things are supposed to happen socially. Because how can you expect someone from another culture to understand? And so people are much more careful about explaining what's going on, and it can make it much easier. And so a lot of autistics who have difficulty dating find that if they just go to a completely different country, they're actually accepted much more. And it's because
Interesting.
people naturally kind of pull you along and help you out and tell you what to do. in order to understand the culture, because they don't just expect you to understand it.
Yeah. And here's the thing I would say. Like when I brought up incels, I definitely want to discuss like I think what I think kind of goes into the mindset of some of the people that do kind of go along with it, because there's definitely a um there's definitely a tendency or a uh an automatic response to just dismiss these people as just like these are all terrible people. And I think that there's a lot of incels that are probably just crappy human beings. But I think that there is this narrative that we're often given in all sorts of media that that um everybody deserves love and is entitled to love. And of course, like I would say that I agree with that. Everybody deserves love, but I would say that you're not entitled to the specific love of a specific person, right? So, um, sometimes a person just does not feel attraction to you, either physically or personality wise. Um, and
And you need
sometimes
to get over it and move on.
and you need to get over it and move on. And it sucks. It hurts,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
if it's somebody that you care about. Um, and honestly, most people probably have had somebody at one point who had a crush on them or had feelings towards them that they themselves did not reciprocate. Uh, so the thing is, you are like deserving of love, but nobody is required to give it to you. You have to earn it. And if there is a person who does not reciprocate, um, and has given no indication that they will ever reciprocate, you need to move on. Continuing to harass them and harper them, which unfortunately is something that people on the autism spectrum will do. And to be fair, that's often because neurotypicals are taught not to be direct.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, while I agree with you, it can be difficult because neurotypicals tend to lie, especially when it has to do with relationships.
Yeah.
And some of the lies are being polite, not saying no clearly enough, and or saying it in a way that to the autistic sounds like it means, oh yeah, ask again some other time, like, oh, I'm busy that night. Oh, she really
Yeah.
wants to, but um this is a calendar issue. I need to keep asking until the calendar clears.
Yeah.
When what they're when they say, oh, thank you for asking, but nah, I'm busy this night, that probably means,
Yeah.
but the opposite happens too.
Yeah.
You say, hey, you want to go out with me? And there's the, oh no, I would never go out with you, and batting eyes and doing the hair, and why would I want to go out with you? Sometimes the no doesn't really mean no. It's just a flirt of some kind.
Yeah. But
Oh my
to be
God, that's
clear,
confusing.
yeah. Yeah. To be
Please
clear
don't
though,
flirt that way.
yeah. To be clear though, um, no should always be treated as a no, I would argue, especially if you're on the autism spectrum. Like
It's
whether
safest if you do that,
yeah.
but if you do that, you're going to be passing up some opportunities, because some people use that as a way of flirting, and oh my God, I wish they wouldn't do that.
But again, I would say if that is a person's way of flirting, then that means they're probably not going to be a direct communicator. And if you're on the autism spectrum, you need a direct communicator.
Yeah,
And of
that's
course,
probably not a good choice anyway.
there's important discussions about consent. As we always say, like when it comes to issues of sexual consent, no means no. Even if there's a possibility that in the back of the person's mind they are interested in something, if they say no, it's a no. All right. Uh, if they reluctantly say yes, it's a no. If they say maybe, it's a no. And that's something that autistics just really need to keep in their mind. Just keep in their head and realize that when dating, because you don't want a situation in which a miscommunication causes you to make somebody feel uncomfortable when you didn't mean to.
And I think it makes sense to be upfront with people about this. Um, to say, look, I'm autistic. I I am concerned about misinterpreting, and so I need you to know anything less than an enthusiastic yes, I'm going to treat as a no, because
Yeah.
I don't want to make that mistake.
Yeah.
So if you really want to say yes, you're going to have to make it clear, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm going to treat it as a no.
So that is all we have time to discuss today.
There were a lot
Thank
of
you.
other things we could have talked about, though. So if people want to continue the discussion, um, this is a big topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you
Use
to
the
Uncle
comments.
Bozo. Thank you to Uncle Bozo 9845 for suggesting this as a topic. I think this was a great discussion, and thank
And
you all.
maybe based on the response, we might do a follow-up of some sort.
Yeah, potentially. Um, Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Check out some of our other stuff, and you will see us in the next one.